Welcome to my channel. If you haven't already seen my first video on first fermentation for homemade kombucha, go ahead and check that one out. But if you have seen it, this is number 2 where we're doing second fermentation. So you can see how to do the second fermentation to have finished kombucha in a few more days. This is what it will look like, and let's get started and I'll show you the process. Okay, my kombucha has fermented fully for the first fermentation. So the only thing that I did so far was I pulled out my SCOBY and I put it into a Tupperware and I filled it up with some of the brew, some of the tea, and then I take my plastic whisk and I go in and I stir this up, because you want to make sure you get all the yeast and all the stuff all nice and mixed up into the kombucha so that you don't have one portion of it really dense and then the rest of it not. I actually stir this up before I poured out the portion here into this Tupperware. So once you do that, honestly, it is so simple. You set this aside and then you are just going to fill this tea into this mason jar. You can do whatever size you like and fill as many as you desire. And then I'll show you how to get these ready for the second fermentation. It is very, very, very simple. And then all you're gonna do with your initial brew is you're gonna start over with your newest, youngest SCOBY and I would say 2 or more cups of your starter, very strong brew. All right, so then I'm going to get this poured into my mason jars and then we will get going with second fermentation. Okay, so when you fill up your mason jars, you don't want to go too high. You want to leave enough room for the fruit that's going to do the fermentation, and then you also want to leave enough room for carbonation. So be careful. I filled 4 of these and I actually still have some remaining. I could do another small mason jar if I want to, but what I'm going to do is I like to have enough of my strong brew to start my next batch, since there's not a whole lot in here and I have 3 large SCOBYs. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take these SCOBYs, I'm going to put them back into my container over here and pour the tea back into it as well. This is the oldest SCOBY, so this one, it still has a lot of life left in it if you want to keep using, but you can also discard or use it for another recipe. Pour this back in there, and then this is like my miniature SCOBY hotel for now, and once I'm ready to start my next batch for my continuous brew, I'm going to pull 2 of these SCOBYs out, leave the strongest, newest one in there. It's nice and thick, nice and young and healthy, and then I'll start my next batch. But in the meantime, this is my little SCOBY hotel, so I'm just going to cover it back up, put the rubber band back on, and I'll probably work on that brew tomorrow. So now we're going to move on to second fermentation with these guys. So just real quick, I put this back just like I would with a normal batch of kombucha. This is just going to sit like this overnight until I'm ready to do my next batch. I'm not ready to do that right now. And then moving to these guys, I will show you. All I do is add fruit. I like to do berries to these, seal them up nice and tight, and then I'll tell you what to do next. I'm very simple when it comes to second fermentation and flavoring my kombucha. There are so many ways to do it, but one of my absolute favorites is fresh strawberries. I get organic strawberries. You have to cut them up into little pieces, and then you just gently place them into the jar. You can gauge how many you want to put in each one. I've always done several berries per jar because it just gives it amazing color and amazing flavor. And leave a little bit of room. Of course, the carbonation will build up and you don't want to have your jars explode. But I'm going to put strawberries in 2 of my jars. You can also mix multiple fruits. I've played around some, but to be honest with you, my favorite is either plain strawberry and plain blueberry, or strawberry and blueberry together are really delicious. But I have to say, I tried some other variations with fruit and they just weren't quite as good. So personally, I like to stick with strawberry or blueberry or the combination of the 2. Okay, so here I have 2 strawberry kombuchas ready for their second fermentation, and these 2 I'm going to do strawberry blueberry combination. So I have my organic blueberries. You have to cut them in half. Don't do them whole if you want to get just the maximum result from the fruit. So yeah, I'm just gonna toss those in. I mean, this is really simple. Like there's really not a whole lot to it, honestly. That's what I love about kombucha. It's simple, it's fun, and the end result is great. So some of those sunk down, they should float back up. But yeah, 2 strawberry blueberry and 2 strawberry. You're gonna seal these up tight with the mason jar lids. I have 2 here. You're gonna seal it up tight, really tight, and then each day you're gonna have to twist the top of the jar, release the pressure, and then tighten it back on really tight. Otherwise, honestly, they get so carbonated sometimes this will bend, and you can hear it. One morning we heard it make a pop sound, and it was because the pressure was too great. So make sure you release the pressure, the air, once or twice a day, seal it up tight, and you're gonna have this fermentation go for the next several days. And you can just kind of gauge it with how well the fermentation is going. Okay, I have these brand new ones all sealed up nice and tight, ready for second fermentation. They sit out at room temperature on your counter. And like I said, release pressure each day, at least once a day, and then seal it up nice and tight. And then after several days, you will have what looks like this. And all of the fruit in there will have lost most of its color. See, there's a floating strawberry. This is strawberry blueberry, and I believe this one was actually raspberry peach. And this is not my favorite combination. It's a little tart, but it still tastes good. But they get this beautiful coloring, and once they are ready to go and you've reached the second fermentation and a good level of carbonation, you pop them in your fridge and they're good for several months. So this yellow, with floating fruit will soon turn into these beautiful pink and like a deep pink purple color and be ready to consume here soon. Good luck with your kombucha. I hope you love the end result. I know I do. It's delicious. It's the perfect amount of tart and sweet and just such an enjoyable drink with so many health benefits. And I hope my video was helpful for you. I have a video on the first fermentation. This is, of course, my video on the second fermentation. And if you haven't already, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. Give this video a like if it was helpful to you. And I hope to see you back here on my channel for future videos. Thanks so much. We'll see you again soon. Happy brewing.